All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. Looks like our audio levels are good. This morning, top stories, we have a dead Charlotte Football Club player at age 25 in Miami, another athlete dead in a boating accident in Miami. We've seen this story a number of times. We also have the debt ceilings reached, which was the top story until the Alec Baldwin charges came through. And again, if you've been following the debt ceiling reached, they're saying the Treasury is going to have to take care of the problem for the interim, and it could lead to the loss of millions of jobs, the loss of 401ks, more turmoil with the market. And again, we know that they need to instigate some financial problems to transition us to the digital currency they all want us on so they can track every last penny. And then also, again, just the latest with Alec Baldwin and the Halyna Hutchins killing of October 21st, 2021, the killing of the Ukrainian woman right before Russia-Ukraine. Again, if you know what's going on in the world, if you know the knowledge of the cabal, you can see how every single story that is a top headline day after day is a manipulation and executed by a code. And let's talk about all three of the top stories this morning. Again, Alec Baldwin, the dead Charlotte FC player, and also the debt ceiling. Why are all of these stories coming today? If you have not been following the work I've been putting out since the day this news broke, October 21st, 2021, we covered it that very evening. It was a Thursday. We've been showing it's not an accident that this shooting happened in a church scene. Again, supposedly the shooting scene happened in a church for the set of the movie Rust. And the numbers all over it clearly indicated who was truly responsible: the Jesuit order. And immediately, and I'll further prove that because it's just becoming more undeniable as each new chapter of this story unfolds, that it just becomes more and more clear it is the Society of Jesus, the Jesuit orders, that's pulling the strings on this entire ordeal. But remember, when the news first broke about the Alec Baldwin killing of Halyna Hutchins, it was compared to the death of Brandon Lee. But the media did not point out that Brandon Lee was buried on Alec Baldwin's 35th birthday. And it was also not pointed out that Brandon Lee died in the same way that Bruce Lee dies in the plot of the film Game of Death. And remember, Bruce Lee died on the 201st day of the year. The Halyna Hutchins killing came 201 days after Alec Baldwin's birthday. And again, 201 is a number that's specific to one order, and that's the Jesuit order. Again, their order was saved in their own history books by Catherine the Great, who preserved the order with 201 Jesuit priests. Catherine the Great was the leader of Russia. Russia-Ukraine breaks out after the Ukrainian killing of Halyna Hutchins in a massive 201 ritual. But also, again, we're in the time of the first Jesuit Pope right now, Pope Francis, who's the first to live in Suite 201 at the Vatican. And again, when you learn Gematria, you can see how his birth name, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, equals 201, as does the Jesuit order, as does Ignatius of Loyola, their founder, and so on and so forth. So, clear Jesuit ritual from day one. And notice how they continue to pay tribute to the Society of Jesus. Look at how perfect this all is. We're going to get to how this is perfectly synced with Alec Baldwin's upcoming 65th birthday, which will be the anniversary of the burying of Brandon Lee, and also the anniversary of what science has said is probably the day Jesus was really crucified, April 3rd. But how this is synced with his 65th birthday, and why this news comes today exactly 65 weeks after the supposed shooting. So we'll get to that 65, but along the way, here's what else you need to know. Today is 74 days before Alec Baldwin's upcoming birthday. Again, the very first video I ever put out teaching about this knowledge of Gematria was about the significance of the number 74, and we've talked about this number a million times in a million different rituals. It is the number of the ruling cabal. But notice how in Gematria, Jesus Christ equals 43 when you run the alphabetic order forwards, 74 when you run it in reverse. Today is January 19th, the majority of the world writes the date 19/1 like 191, the 43rd prime. And again, Baldwin's birthday is 4/3. The shooting came in a church scene. So Jesus Christ, 4374. Today's date has the 4/3 connection. Again, Baldwin born on 4/3, 74 days before his 4/3 birthday. It's 19/1, the date, like 191, the 43rd prime. Baldwin, the surname, also has Gematria 43. Killing has the Gematria of 74 and 43. Again, if you're new here, the code is very simple. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, up to Z, the 26 letters. 26 is the most simple cipher. The next cipher is the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology, and then the other half of the code is just flipping the alphabetic order in reverse. Z is 1 back to A is 26, and the reverse alphabetic order with numerology. And today's date, again, 19/1, Society of Jesus equals 191, whereas the Jesuit order is 201. Again, they're alternative names for the same organization, and both numbers are super important to this organization. But using the most simple cipher, Jesus, Lucifer, cross, Messiah, parables, gospel, they're all 74. Again, if you're not familiar with Christianity, the gospel's the story of Jesus. Jesus spoke in parables. The counterpart to Jesus is Lucifer. They're both referred to as morning stars. Again, holiday, meaning holy day, is also 74. Think about this nation with the 7/4 birthday. If you use numerology, Independence Day is 74. But killing is also 74, reminding that 3 of the first 5 U.S. presidents died at age 74. 35 is very special to the Catholic Church. 3 of the first 5. Thursday equals 35. Brandon Lee was buried on Alec Baldwin's 35th birthday. Eric equals 35, which was Brandon Lee's character in The Crow. Bruce Lee equals 35. Whose film Game of Death foreshadowed what was to come with his son years later in the set of The Crow. Bruce Lee also fights Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in Game of Death, so you might want to keep your eyes on Kareem because he's about to get passed by LeBron in points scored, and the last time LeBron passed Kobe in points scored, we know what happened to Kobe the next day. Dead in a huge Jesuit ritual, dead at age 41 on the Pope's 41st day of his age while traveling from Catholic Mass when Kobe Bryant equals 41. Anyhow, Gematria, I didn't even put it up here, but in the same cipher, Gematria is 74, so is English, so is energy, so is occult, so is Masonic. Modern Freemasonry is a Jesuit creation. Modern Freemasonry is also known as Judaism for the Gentile because it's based in Jewish secrets. Notice Jewish is also 74. And here, I got lazy and didn't keep taking screenshots, but when you use numerology, Halyna Hutchins is 64, right? Alec Baldwin's getting charged for involuntary manslaughter right now while he's still 64 years old. Her name's also 71 like Catholic, 163, which is the 38th prime like death. Notice how involuntary manslaughter is 311. That's the 64th prime number. So involuntary manslaughter for Halyna Hutchins while he's 64. And again, the ritual synced with his upcoming 65th birthday. And notice from the October 21st, 2021 shooting to today is exactly 65 weeks. Again, you got the church shootout scene. Just last week, the Christian school, TCU, got wasted by Georgia, 65-7. And Georgia went 15-0, and then on the 15th of the month, days later, one of their players who went to a Catholic school ended up dead in a bizarre car accident. It's weird how often that happens. Team wins a championship, and then a player dies. Nobody seems to blink an eye as it goes on year after year. Year after year, they all went to Catholic high schools. But anyhow, exactly 65 weeks, Christianity 65, again, like the Christian school getting smoked 65-7. Baldwin, in the most simple ciphers, 65. And just to show you the magic of the name Halyna in light of the church shootout scene, Halyna, you see the 61-101? Look at church, 61-101. Look at Christian, 61-101. Think about Philadelphia, the letters written to the Church of Philadelphia about the synagogue of Satan. Philadelphia's got the 61-101 and the 65. Philadelphia's establishment date is October 27th, the day leaving 65 days left in the air. You just had the boy in the box story, solved after 65 years in Philadelphia. A few days ago, you had the Thunder upsetting the 76ers with a nice payout where the Thunder coach got his 65th career win. Philadelphia, of course, is also 223 like the Synagogue of Satan, and that's why you're getting the George Santos story this year. The man who claims to be a Jew but is not, just like what's written to the letter, or the letter written to the Church of Philadelphia about the Synagogue of Satan, the false Jews. More George Santos news by the numbers yesterday on 118. They came out with his drag queen name, which equaled 118 on 118. Again, it's all just news by the numbers. Alec Baldwin's full name, Alexander Ray Baldwin III. Notice the 142 in his name. 142, let me type in Christian again. 142. You see how Christians got the 61? So does Christmas, so does church like we talked about, so does cross, so does Jesus. If you look into sacred geometry, 61 is how many overlapping circles are in the flower of life, the symbol that represents God. And in Jewish gematria, God does equal 61. But remember, gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words, means geometry and language. And you know what else? You see how Jesuits equals 103? 103 is the 27th prime number. Remember, involuntary manslaughter, let me type it up there again, also has the 103. But 103 is the 27th prime number. The New Testament, you know, the Christian section of the Bible begins with Matthew, which equals 27, a word that sounds like math. And notice how math is 42. It's also 66. So is New Testament, 42, 66. The New Testament begins with the 42 generations to Jesus. Ends with the 66th book, Revelation. You know that verse that begins, "Here is wisdom," and then teaches about how to calculate, or it says the one with wisdom will know how to calculate the number of the beast. But New Testament, or where's this shooting at? New Mexico, right? New Mexico, which also equals 42. And you see how New Mexico is 111? Anything that's 111 in that cipher in Sumerian gematria, which is just multiplying the alphabetic order times 6, anything that's 111 is also 666. New Mexico, New Testament, church shootout scene, all the perfect encoded number rituals. And again, like we were just talking about, the initial shooting was 201 days after Baldwin's birthday. Notice if you write out the Holy Bible, it's 201, right? In that same cipher, the Jesuit orders 201. Notice how when you write out Illuminati, it's 150. Again, the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt created the Illuminati, but Illuminati's 150. They said Baldwin shot the woman at 1:50 p.m. sharp, and notice how order of Illuminati is 201. And again, Adam Weishaupt died in history 201 days after the anniversary of the order's establishment. Order of Illuminati is also 93, like how Baldwin's birthday is the 93rd day of the year. In the year 93, on the 93rd day of the year is the day they buried Brandon Lee on Baldwin's birthday. And again, Eric equals 35, which was Brandon Lee's character. The son of Bruce Lee, who died on the 201st day of the year, Bruce Lee, 35. And again, he was buried on Baldwin's 35th birthday. You see how what's amazing about Bruce Lee? 71, 35, 145, 46. Look at Catholic, the exact same in every cipher. 71, 35, 145, 46. 46 books in the Catholic Old Testament, 145 more chapters in the Catholic Old Testament. JFK, the first Catholic president, number 35, killed at age 46. The second Catholic president, Joe Biden, number 46, elected 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday, inaugurated on the Pope's 35th day of his age. And with regards to the 71, look at Halyna Hutchins again. Halyna Hutchins, 71. It was compared to the death of Brandon Lee, whose death was compared to Bruce Lee's film Game of Death. Okay. Rust. The name Rust itself, which sounds like Russia, right? The Ukrainian woman killed right before Russia-Ukraine, which was a huge 201 ritual. But notice how Rust has the 78 in it. Look at Jesuit. Jesuit's got the 78 in it as well. Also the 21, like the shooting on the 21st of October. Oh, by the way, the 21st of October is the day leaving 71 days left in the year. Going with Halyna Hutchins and Bruce Lee parallel. But again, Jesuit, 78, 21, also 42, like we just talked about with New Mexico. Let me write Illuminati again. You see the 48 in Illuminati? and the 150 like the time of death. New Mexico, also 48. Let me write up Illuminati again. Illuminati also 120. Look at Rust, 15. Where's the relationship with 15 and 120? If you add 1 through 15 together, it equals 120. The Illuminati founded on what day? The first day of the 5th month. The first day of the 5th month. Remember, Kanye West, not long ago, came out on the 15-year anniversary of his mother's death and said his mother was sacrificed. His name overlapping with Illuminati. Again, all the clues just right in front of you. Rust, Ukrainian woman, then Russia, Ukraine. Remember, Biden met with Putin on Pearl Harbor Day, of all days, to talk about Ukraine before the invasion happened, and that was 201 days after the first Jesuit Ignatian year began. And then earlier that year in June, it was 201 days after Biden's birthday that he was at the European Union, which equals 201, and he warned Putin not to invade Ukraine. And then, when Ukraine was invaded by Russia on the exact date that we predicted it would happen, before it happened, because we know the code and how redundant it is, it was in the Donbass region, which equals 201. And then on the 1-year anniversary of Biden telling Putin not to invade Ukraine, the headline that day from the New York Times to everyone else was that Russia had fully taken over the Donbass region, which was 201 days after Joe Biden's birthday. And remember, Joe Biden sacrificed his son Beau at age 46, 201 days before the Pope's birthday. His wife and daughter died back in 72, right after he became senator-elect on Limestone Road. Limestone Road 201, 150, Illuminati numbers. And again, the pyramids are made out of limestone. And Great Pyramid of Giza, when spelled correctly, is also 201. And there's 201 remaining layers of stone. And the pyramid and the eye are symbols of the Illuminati. And you see how I is 35, like how the I went on the dollar bill in 35. It's also 46 in reverse, like how Catholics 35 and 46. Today is January 19th, which can also be written 119. And again, big news today, all-seeing eye, 119. All-seeing eye, 119, that symbol on the dollar, where the I went on the bill in 35. And now we're back to this. Again, the shooting was originally on a Thursday, which equals 35 and 46, the most Catholic day of the week after Sunday. Jupiter is what Thursday is named after, and the Jew Peter is the first pope. But Thursday, 35, 46, and, you know, the dollar could be in more trouble because of the debt ceiling being hit. By the way, you guys, notice how debt ceiling, notice the Gematria 63. That's today's date numerology, right? 63. We've been talking about all the symbolism this year with the Bills, the Buffalo Bills in their 63rd season, and how it could be indicative of a dollar collapse. And we've been talking about that since before even Damar Hamlin, the Bill, collapsed by the numbers, whose birthday happens to be the 83rd day of the year. And then a few days later, another number 3 for Old Dominion, Old Control, who has the same birthday as Damar Hamlin, the 83rd day of the year. He collapsed, and Old Dominion's establishment date is 13/3. And you see how collapse has all the same gematria as football? 83, 29, 133, 43. Today's date numerology is 63, and the lesser date numerology is 43. And where football is 43, so is Florida. So is killing. Remember, the election of number 43 came down to Florida, where Jeb Bush was the 43rd governor, and then Bush became the 43rd president. His daddy was the 43rd vice president. They all went to Yale. American football is credited to Walter Camp. But anyway, the reason I'm saying this is because we also have the dead football player in Florida today who plays for Charlotte Football Club. And notice his full name, Anton Charles Wax, 201. Just like how Baldwin shot the Ukrainian woman 201 days after his birthday in the Illuminati Jesuit ritual. And today's date numerology, again, 43, going with football, Florida, killing, and RIP. And Charlotte Football Club, 119, who he played for. And then again, the date can also be written 19/1, like 191, the 43rd prime. And remember last week when we got the news that Lisa Marie Presley was hospitalized, I put out a video before it came out that she died, and I said, don't be surprised if she's dead later today because it's 20 days before her birthday. Well, look at what happened with Anton Charles Walks. Today's January 19th, 20 days before his February 8th birthday, and he's dead at 25. Death, 20 and 25. Also 97, which is the 25th prime. The only number we didn't cover is 38, but now we did because he's dead in Florida, which equals 38. Also 43 going with the date. And does the 65 thing factor in because we got Baldwin in the news right now? Could be a coincidence, that part. But the word time is also 20 and 25. And remember, cross is also 20. And the 20th letter of the alphabet is the cross, the T. So it's not hard to see what's really going on with these incidents. Just try and do a web search for all the athletes that have died in boating accidents outside of Miami. Happens a lot. Miami has that Gematria of 45 and 27. The word ritual is 45 and 27. The Jesuit acronym IHS is 45 and 36, also like Miami. But yeah, I actually have a lot of work to do, and wasn't planning on doing a live stream this early in the morning, but it's coming fast and furious on January 19th. I'm going to finish my work, and then I'll probably have to catch up with the latest in the news cycle. But again, day after day, all the news, a perfect ritual. And again, the reason they do this is to control the population that is ruled over, which is us. Again, it's that George Carlin joke. We have owners. Those owners, they control the media, the entertainment, all the things that control the minds of the masses. All-seeing eye. What's controlling the minds of the masses more than anything? Dollar bills. All-seeing eye, 119. Huge scary story today on 119 that could affect all age groups. If you're watching the news, people who are about to retire could lose their 401ks. Again, you guys, for the young person who doesn't appreciate that, you have to imagine that you worked for 30, 40 years on your slave grind. And instead of having money for that year, you decided to put it into your 401k so that someday you could retire. And now here you are after working 30, 40 years, and now another threat that you could lose your whole retirement. And all those people are thinking like, man, I guess I should have took my money all those years back. Again, you guys are putting our money into Ponzi schemes. But at the same time, what else are you going to do? If you want to retire and not work until the day you die, these are the choices you got to make. But then these kind of shenanigans keep happening. And then when you see how it's actually being executed, you can see that it is a scam. It's a scheme and a scam. All right, True Seeker. Thank you to the Super Chatters. Shout out to Duffman, chipped in 5 Canadian. Shout out to... Congrats to the winners. I appreciate the super chat. I'm sure if you're watching, I did just cover the boat crash. And thank you, King Sosa, as well. We'll keep this one short and sweet. I'll be back later today, True Seeker. And until next time.